You know how it is, we are getting things set up so that we're on point. Got a good topic for you today, so be sure that you are hanging on. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I appreciate you. Those of you, let people know that yes, Coach Trev is coming. He is live. This is the time to put out the notices and let you know that it's happening. It is going on. And so our topic today is Rewire for Success. So hold on for a moment. Oop. All right. And so what we're talking about is how to rewire yourself for success. So if you're tuning in, put a little something in the chat. Let me know where you are tuning in from. Yep, let me know where you are tuning in from. That would be great. All right. So let's go ahead and we're getting started. Yes, you'll see the title there. You'll see the subtitle that's going on here. We're talking about 8 ways. That's right. 8 ways to train your brain for success. 8 ways to train your brain for success. All right. So I just want to let me be sure that nothing is blocking here and everything is good. As I said, if you have any questions too, as I go through this live, be sure that you are putting them in the comments. If I miss them, then feel free to message me. Hey, Apostle Donna. Hey, thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining, for sharing this out, for getting people in here. All right. And so I'm just going to take a moment and see and get everyone in here, or at least get the notice out. For those of you who just happen to stop by, be sure that you are following my profile, and you have and you turn on your notifications so that when I do go live, you are notified. You get it'll hit your phone, hit your desktop, whichever way that you are, that you receive those type of notifications. All right. So couple more people, and I'm going to do that. As I said, be sure that you are following me. I have some news for those of you who are unfamiliar. I have released my second book. Yes, I've released my second book, The Doorways of Life, Volume 2, The Gates of Growth. So since I've released that's what I'm doing is I am getting people together in order to review it, to talk about it. It's going to be for a project for 4 weeks. If you're interested in that, be sure that you message me. I'll also be sending out notices and things along those lines. I'm looking for a number of people, looking for 100 people to connect with me. We would meet each week for 4 weeks. We'll talk about that. You'll get a copy of the book. That way that you can discuss it. We can discuss topics that pertain that, anything along those lines, and move forward in it. And I can get some feedback from you. So if that's something that you're interested in, be sure that you message me. So I would love to be able to connect with you on that, get your insight, and how and other ways in order to incorporate that, to get that out there. If you're signed up, if you're not signed up, be sure that you mention me so that you get notifications. I send out a newsletter each week. This one will be going out later on tonight, so go out on Tuesdays. So be sure that you are connecting with me as each topic that comes in, so that you'll know anytime I release, hey Teresa, I release any type of PDF, any notices, any products, any new classes, things along those lines. There's also my mastermind as well. The mastermind meets every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so that's a closed group where we take the things that I discuss, not only in my newsletter, but on my lives, and we get practical steps as to how you can really incorporate that into your particular situation, whether you are working, whether you are an entrepreneur, whether you have a number of staff that's under you, manager, director, an executive position. This is an opportunity for you to be able to get some practical steps on that. So if you're interested in that, be sure to message me and I'll connect with you directly. All right. So That's what I want to be sure that we're on track for. Okay. Any and so as I said, I do have a topic here, and we're going to get to that. Any questions that we have in the meantime, if you have any questions while I'm discussing, and if it's hopefully we would like to keep it on topic. If it's something you would like to pivot to, uh, put it in the chat. I will look down and see if that's something that I can pivot to. If it's not, then I can reach out to you and answer your question directly. Okay. Excellent. Welcome in, Deborah. So we're going to get started talking about our topic today is Rewire for Success. We're going to talk about 8 ways to train your mind for success. Okay. 8 ways to train your mind for success. All right. So let's go ahead. Let's push this out. And for those of you, as I said, if you are here, be sure you share out the live, share it out with your friends, share it out with your people, push it out there. Let's get people to come in, encourage to boost the screen, likes and all that, taps, any things that can increase the visibility so that more people out there. If there's somebody that you know that could use this, tell them to come in. I go live for right now, Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That may pivot as the mastermind grows. All right. So that may pivot to Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You'll find out. Be sure that you're following my notifications and you're seeing my content. I post twice a day. Going to be doubling that soon. So be sure that you're following my page for all that notification, the content. Be sure you subscribe to my newsletter. All those things, those opportunities to learn, to apply, to grow. So we've got that going. Everyone good? All right. Let me make sure everything is on track. Excellent. So I'm going to pull up my notes, and as I let people know beforehand, is that if you see me peeking over here, I do have a couple monitors, so I want to be sure that that my notes are available. All right, and so let's do that. Mute that out, and I got my water here. So if you see that lean, that's the water. Because there will be a lot of discussion, a lot of talking, so we want to get that out there. So, as I said, be sure to take the time to share this out. Thank you all so much for coming in. I appreciate it. So, let's get started with our topic today, 8 ways to train your mind. So, I posted a video earlier that said something simple, that said success is more predictable than most people think. Now, I don't mean that life is predictable, because we all know that there are those things that we can't predict every single thing. Circumstances are going to change. It's going to flow from here to there. What I mean is that if you consistently think the same thoughts, then you'll usually make the same decisions. And if you consistently make the same decisions, then you usually build the same habits. Now, you build the same habits, same results. So there's that pattern, same decisions, same habits, same, all from the same thoughts. So you're usually going to build that. So the encouraging news is that your thinking isn't something that's fixed. It's not something that's stuck there. I like to say you have the difference and a choice between a mindset and a set mind. Now, a set mind is something that's frozen, that's stuck, that won't move forward. But a mindset is something that's flexible, it's changeable, it's pliable, it's adaptable, something that flows along there. So that's what you have. You can learn new patterns. You can build new habits. Now, you can intentionally train your mind to work for you instead of against you. So what I want to do is I want to share 8 practical ways to begin training your mind for success. Okay? So be sure you're liking it. So we're going to start with point number 1 and I'm making sure we have all these things. Now, one of the reasons too that I'm also excited, because you may hear that there's excitement in my voice, as I said, I released my second book on July 4th. Now, throughout this book, one of the recurring themes is that growth is intentional. We don't wander into something. We don't accidentally walk down the street and we just happen to go down here and there's this area of intentionality or anything. We don't drift into becoming better. We choose it. And we do that by making one decision at a time. So here are 8 practical ways to train your mind for success. So let's jump in with number 1. And let me just check and make sure that comments that everything is here. Everything is on point. and that everything is addressed. All right, so we're good. Now, one of the first things that we want to talk about is number one, change your self-talk. Because you believe what you repeatedly tell yourself. So one of the things that I've learned as I've been studying this is that the longest conversation you'll ever have is with yourself. Now, most people never really pay attention to that conversation. See, it's your internal dialogue that shapes your expectations, and those expectations influence your decisions. So when you're looking at your decisions decide your actions. And as you repeat these things over time, your actions become habits. So as you're known for your habits. This person likes this. They happen to go this way. They've got these idiosyncrasies about them. Those habits become your lifestyle. So now that you know the flow from expectations to decisions to habits, you've got to pay attention to the labels that you use when you speak to yourself. You've got to know what's the conversation that's going on. Let me pause and take a moment and think about that. Just remembered something I was supposed to do, but all good. And so, actually, you know what? Bear with me. I've got to grab something. Here we go. Okay. So, one of the things is this: is that what you want to do is be mindful of the things you're saying to yourself. Hey, Orly, thank you for stopping in. You've got to be mindful when you say to yourself, thank you. When you say to yourself, hey, Rita, that you are not disciplined, that you're terrible with money, you'll never change, you doubt that any of those things can happen. So you've got to be mindful when you're saying that to yourself, because you're now training your brain to find evidence of the things that you say. So it's important that you begin to replace those statements with what is called growth language. That's important. You've got to replace it. I talked about this yesterday. It's not so much as removing it and no longer saying it. It's about replacing that space. Thank you for the follow. Thank you. Thank you for the heart, man. Thank you for the taps. I appreciate it. And so, what you want to do is, instead of saying I'm not disciplined, say to yourself, I'm becoming more disciplined. Instead of saying to yourself that I'm bad with money, say to yourself that I'm learning to manage money better. Oh, you're welcome. Please. Thank you for that. Please stay. You're definitely welcome to stay. Feel free to share out the live. Um, and instead of saying to yourself, I'll never change, say to yourself, I'm growing every day. Now, if and as I said, if you have any questions, any comments, anything along those lines, put them in the chat. I'll definitely do my best to address it. So as we're changing your self-talk, you've got to understand is that if you use the word yet is very powerful. So it's something. It says, I haven't figured out yet. What it does is you're using that to encourage yourself. So yes, language precision, exactly. You've got to correct yourself without condemning yourself. That's one of the key things. You've got to speak honestly, but you don't speak hopelessly. You're changing your self-talk. See, your words impact your willingness to act, and you've got to be sure that you're programming yourself with the right things. Because your attitudes, your actions, they follow your language. So what do? You want to speak possibility, speak growth, speak life. Those are the things that you want to do when it comes to training your brain, rewiring your brain for success. So let me ask you and put in a comment, what phrase do you catch yourself saying too often? Do you say, you procrastinate too much? Do is it a health issue? Is it a matter issue? You're always running, those things you've got to really point it out and take inventory so that you can replace it and you can get that change that's there. All right. So that's number one, change your self-talk. Number two, the second way that you can train your brain for success is feed your mind better information. See, your mind grows in the direction of what you're constantly feeding it. So every day your mind is going to be consuming something. It's consuming, whether it's books and podcasts. It could be conversations. I like music. I like music. I'm very fan of music, so it's consuming that music. There's new social media videos. So you've got to ask yourself this. You've got to really sit down and take inventory of all those areas of consumption and say, are those things helping you or are they hurting you? It's time you get down and say, and there's no line in between. It's got to be very black and white, no gray areas. See, your healthy mind needs healthy input. So you've got to do those things to replace it. Remember, it's not so much as removing the habit, removing the bad thing. It's also replacing it, putting something in that space. So you replace endless scrolling with intentional learning, something that's playing on a consistent basis. Also read something that stretches your mind. A statistic says that millionaires read 20 minutes every day. That's right. Millionaires read 20 minutes every day. Now, that could be a goal of yours to earn that amount of money. It may not. However, you want to be intentional about your learning. You want to put it on a calendar and say, what is it that I'm doing every day to feed my brain that? Another way to grow is listen to people who challenge you to grow. So what you do is you spend less time consuming drama and you spend more time consuming wisdom, because you're not doing it just for yourself. You're doing it for those other people that you come in contact with, your community, your base. Those are the areas that you do that. All right. If this is landing for you, put a one into the chat. If this is all making sense, just put a one into the chat. So you've got to definitely, what you want to do is be sure when it comes to your goals, you want to be sure that you protect your environment. There you go. There's the one. You protect your mental environment. So you want to protect your physical. However, what takes precedence is your mental environment, because your environment is going to influence your expectations. And when your expectations come, they influence your behavior. So they influence your behavior. And so if you have garbage that's coming in, nonsense that's there, so garbage in is going to be garbage out. So you've got to be sure that your inputs are healthy, your inputs are strong. So those are the ones that are going to create your healthy thinking, and that healthy thinking is going to create the healthy habits. So become intentional about what enters your mind, right? And think about this. What's one book, podcast, or mentor that's changed your thinking? I can name a few. Dr. Miles Monroe. I would say, John Maxwell. I'm looking over at my books. I have a lot of books here. John Maxwell. Who else there? I want to say Larry Winget, but there's John Canfield, Tony. Oh, why does the name escape me? Tony Robbins, things along those lines. So there's a number of people. You just got to be sure you name them. Like, what are the people that change your thinking? So that's number two. Be sure you feed your mind better information. So let's move on to number three. Got you. Oh, David Ramsey. Got you. Okay. Or Ramdas. Not familiar with him. I got to look him up. Hold on. Got it. Okay. Thank you, Orly. Thank you for putting me on. I'm going to look him up. See, not familiar with them. Thank you so much. Feel free to put some other names, people that have influenced you, because that's how we do it. We share, we pour, all those things there. Charles Duhigg. Listen, there's those thinkers that influence, regardless of whatever century they're in. Neville Goddard. Who else? Catherine Ponder. Joseph Murphy. Silva. So there's a lot of people that are there that make that up. So Robert Greene. All right. So let's move on to number three. Number three, The third way that you can rewire, train your mind for success is by building evidence through small wins. So, this is the key thing that confidence grows not from empty encouragement, but from actual evidence. So, what happens is that there are many people that wait for one breakthrough. You wait for the biggest thing. They're sitting there waiting. I'm waiting for this one break. I'm just waiting for my break. I'm just holding on. I'm this is going to happen. I've looked here, I've checked the charts, I've checked the times, I've seen the schedules. My big break is coming. See, what you want to do is you build confidence one step at a time. And what's a way that you build confidence? It might be simple, but there's a book out there called Make Your Bed. And it's really about stacking your wins, building those small wins in order to do that. Hey, how are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you so much for coming by. Yes, so we're building confidence. Thank you. Thank you. Got a congratulations on the book launch. Thank you so much. Thank you for the heart meet. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Kaizen. Oh, yes, definitely. Let me take a screenshot of that. There you go. Yep. Excellent. Excellent. So, yes. So, how do you build small wins? You do it one step at a time. Like make your bed, you finish a workout, you read one chapter, right? Like for instance, I just released a book on July 4th called The Doorways of Life, Volume 2, The Gates of Growth. How did I complete that? Oh, okay, thank you. How do I complete that? One chapter at a time. I didn't sit down and write the book. It wasn't about yes, you go live one time. There you go. That's a good one. You go live one time. Exactly. You don't attempt to lift the entire mountain. That's the challenge. Many people will look at something and say, well, I've got to lift this whole thing. I've got to do it all at once. Um, and so people will get intimidated by that and they'll hold off on moving forward on how they can do those things. So that's the challenge of it. So you want to continue on. And yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. Feel free. Yep, thank you for the heartbeat. Thank you for tapping the screen, for sharing this out. All of that's good things. And so yes, you've got to do that one thing. You send a proposal, you make the phone call. See, small wins matter. And I'm pausing directly so that that can really resonate. Those small wins matter. Why? Because small wins create momentum. When you notice that you have momentum, then you're able to build confidence because momentum thus gives birth to confidence. Confidence now says that, hey, now that I have this, I can do more. I can create more action. So, what you do is you take the time and you recognize those small wins. You celebrate consistency, celebrate the discipline and progress. And you know what? When you're doing that, be sure to keep score. That's important. You want to write down your victories because there's power in the writing. Thank you. There's power in that. So when you write down your victories, there's power in that because your brain remembers the evidence. Remember, your brain is always looking for the evidence to solidify what's written, what you have, how you're programming. So don't overlook today's success because it seems small. It's the small victories that become the big transformations. So that's the third thing. You build evidence through small wins, right? Looks like this is landing. Thank you all. Keep commenting, keep it going, keep it tapping, all that good stuff. Number four, this is strong right here. Another way, the fourth way for you to train your brain for success, stop rehearsing failure. Stop rehearsing failure. What do I mean by that? So glad you asked. So glad you asked. So when it comes to your brain, many people will spend more time imagining failure than preparing for success. And listen, when I'm saying this too, I'm also talking to myself. So as I'm doing this live and I'm putting this information out to you, I'm seeing myself. So yes, I'm talking to myself. You know, You think about all the times you've like, okay, well, what do I do when this doesn't happen? When this doesn't happen? You're preparing yourself for that failure. You're rehearsing that. We play out the worst case scenario. We play out. We expect rejection and disappointment and criticism and all those things. Thank you for the dolphins. That's the first time I've ever had those. Thank you so much. Um, yes, we rehearse those. So the imagination, because we're imagining all this, that becomes our limitation, our prison. So what do we do in order to change that? We prepare, we practice. What does success look like? What does it feel like? What am I wearing? How does it smell? You learn, we improve, we focus on the things that we can control. And so what we do is, as I said yesterday, I talked about replacing things because it's not so much about removing and getting rid of habits, because what happens is that's an empty space. The habits, your mind doesn't like an empty space, your habits don't like empty spaces. So we've got to replace that. So what do? We take that panic and replace it with preparation. So you take and then you can take so replace panic with preparation. Then we can replace anxiety with action by taking action. So every hour spent preparing, that's an investment. And that investment compounds. So it's going to build as you continue to grow, as you prepare yourself for success. You then start to ask yourself better questions like, what's my next step? What's in control? How can I position myself that much better? Yes, the benefits of contrast versus positive. Yeah, it's definitely, yep, it can be. And it's that positive thought. And see, that's the thing. And that's even when we're writing, even when we're writing orally, I see what you're saying, but I would say is even pivot that. So not even saying, because before when I was saying change the self-talk, even when we write, instead of saying it's a tricky balance, say this is something I'm learning to do. I'm learning to speak better. I'm learning to write better. I'm seeing things that were tricky balances, and now I am leaning towards success. I am learning success. I am in the process of incorporating that. My vocabulary is getting better. My writing is getting better. How I talk to myself and speak to myself, that's getting better because I'm operating at a higher level, a new bracket. And so I'm not even going to entertain that. I'm going to say, I'm getting better. I'm going to type in the comments. I'm going to type it right now because the things I type, yep, tricky but doable. Say it's doable. Focus on the doable. You got this, Orally. You got this. So yes, so now you're replacing the language, you're replacing your fear, you're replacing all those things because success begins with preparation. All right. So that's how you can start to turn yourself around. So that's number 4. Stop rehearsing failure. Instead, prepare for success. Yep. And keep it going. Keep it going. Let's keep it going. Keep that chat up. So, number 5, let's jump in. It sounds like it's landing. Looks like it's landing for you. Hold on for a minute. I've just got to snooze something. All right. Manifestation. Yes. Yes. Exactly. Exactly. There you go, coach. All right. So, number 5, the 5th thing that you can do, and let me just check to make sure I am responding, folks, and make sure like it's good. Putting everything in the comments and putting all those things there. All right, where was I? There I am. Okay, excellent. Here we go. So number 5, surround yourself with better conversations. Yes, surround yourself with better conversations. How do we do that? So the environment doesn't decide your future, but what it does is it strongly influences it. So we're gonna ask ourselves some good questions here. What's some questions that we can ask ourselves? 1, who are you listening to? Who's in your ear? Who's in your ear gate? Who's pouring into you? Who speaks into your life? Do you have someone that challenges you? See, if you're your only person, if you're here, if you're it, then you've got to get around people that can help you. Because if you consider your life a sentence, then if it's just you, then it's just you. You're a period. That's it. You need other people to be able to challenge you and see it and create that that community, that village there. So you ask yourself, who challenges you, who encourages you, who tells you the truth. See, every conversation should leave something behind. So you've got to choose relationships that sharpen you. Choose relationships that speak into your life, that add value. And I like to call this the mathematics of your momentum, the mathematics of your momentum. So find out, ask yourself, who's adding to you? Who's adding to your progress? Who's adding value? Who's subtracting from you? Who's removing progress? Who's a detriment? Who's a hindrance? Who's multiplying that's around you? Who's taking what you have and expanding it exponentially? And who's dividing you? Who is separating you from your calling? Who is separating you from that? So that's an important thing, the mathematics of momentum. That's mine, don't take it. So you've got to choose one. So how do you do that? You find mentors, find coach, find accountability. Yes, I'm an accountability coach. Yes, yes, yep. Ask the question right there, right in the chat. No, quite all right, quite all right. Um, you want to spend time around. You want to spend less time around constant negativity and spend more time around possibility. So the goal of this is you want to learn from people ahead of you, learn from people beside you, be teachable, be humble, stay curious. See, healthy conversations create healthy thinking, and that healthy thinking creates healthy decision. And so, really, when it comes to it, community matters. So, and community matters. So that's key. So, yep. Sometimes, so let's see. Sometimes it's hard to pull yourself out of a spiral. Yeah, we are talking about momentum. Yeah, that's correct. How do you? That's correct. How do you pull yourself up? And that's the thing. See, so the question is, how do you pull yourself up when you have a downward spiral? So the first thing you want to do is admit that you need help. Because when we think about this, even in this life, we didn't come into this life by ourselves. We didn't pop out and say, I got this. Let me go ahead and get a mortgage, get rent, get a job. Let me get these things going. We came out with a team. We were birthed with a team of people. And so it's important, one, to acknowledge that you should not be in here by yourself. There needs to be a community of people around you. And really, when it comes to it, I always believe that isolation is a trick. Is a trick. It's not beneficial. You need somebody, and somebody's in your corner. Now, you'll need people that, one, you can vent to, because it's not healthy for us to keep things on the inside. They did a study. Stanford did a study that they tested somebody that was upset, angry all the time. They tested their breath, and that breath had enough toxins in there to kill an amount of gerbils. Our breath, our stress can kill, because that's in our body. So we need to vent. We need to pour out. Right. And that's the thing. So when you're going through, it's something that it goes against the nature. So like when you're going through always isolate, I understand, and I can do that too, and I do that to my detriment. The good thing is, right now, the fact that you're even typing this is a step in the right direction, because some people have not had the strength to be able to type this out, to be able to say, this is where I need help, because there's strength in vulnerability. So this is where you've got to say, listen, I need to begin to seek out people that can just pour into me, whether it's a question, whether I can talk to them and not get some insight, not getting advice. I just want to be able to vent. I want to be able to pour in. I want to be able to bounce ideas off. I want to be able to say, you know what, this is hard. This is difficult. Why can't I do that? Well, that's the thing. It's not you don't want to be concerned about that, because if someone truly says, listen, I'm here for you to vent, then they have already created the barriers and created the space enough for you to be able to not only pour out, but they can take that energy and convert it. Just like how we take oxygen and we inhale that and we breathe out carbon dioxide, we can take that energy and say, you know what, I know that I can prepare myself. It's those that are not prepared, that not sure how they can take that energy. So what I would say is, if you're able to go with somebody and they say, hey, this is it, this is what I need, can you do that? Can you be that person that I could reach out to pour into? And they say yes, then remove that anxiety and remove that worry. And it happens a step at a time. It happens a sliver, a moment, a thing at a time. It could start off with typing. Start off with typing out your thoughts and sending it. It could start off with, a voice note conversation where you send voice note, that person sends a voice note back. You send a voice note, that person sends a voice note back. It could start off with Zoom. It could start off with meeting in person, all of those things. Thank you for the heart puffs, all of that. But the important thing is it has to start. And to me, right now, it's not. I don't know if I even want to call this a start. This may be the continuation because this started before you even got here. So this is the continuation. So we're recognizing this as a mark, as a milestone to say, all right, we've reached this point that we can speak it out. So now, what's the next step? How do I make a connection so that I can begin to build on that? Not worry about pouring out on energy, but being able to say, I need to put this out. I need to be able to create this village because I've got people that pour into me, and it's important that you have that. So even this one here, when you surround yourself with better conversation, this is number 5. This is now reprogramming, because understand what got you here won't be enough to get you there. So now it's time to be able to look at and strategize about how to process, how to handle that, how to handle those spirals, those times. Because are they going to happen? Yes. Can you plan for those obstacles? Yes, you can. You can definitely plan for that. And so that would be my thing. Is it going to be something that's instantaneous? It's not. It's going to be something that takes time. But the one thing I can tell you is that this lines up because what number 6 is this: to rewire your brain for success is to take action before you feel ready. So many people will wait to build courage. They wait for the confidence. They wait for doors to open. They wait for things to happen. There's no way that you could plan this. There's no way that you could say, you know what, I know at 5:39 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm gonna be on a live with Coach Trev, and we're gonna have this conversation, and I'm gonna tell. We couldn't plan that. But the thing is, you were open to it. And you did it before you felt ready. It wasn't that, okay, I'm ready for this right now. It was an open door. You saw it. You moved in. See, waiting rarely builds courage. Action does. And that comment was action. It was action. See, you didn't wait until you're ready, because that's what most people do. They wait until they're in the right time and they're comfortable and they'll have you. But no, successful people, they prepare and you begin. So you say, you know what, I'm going to try something, because you've got to try something out. Even though I don't like the word try, you've got to start. So, I see how I edited myself right there, because that's something I train my clients with. Um, with when you changing your self-talk, and this is me going back to number 1, there's certain words you want to remove, like the word want, the word try, because those words put things out there like tomorrow. They put things out there, they're not within reach. Exactly. Start. So you start by taking, getting a notebook, getting a pen, and writing down and saying, who are the people that are potentials, that are possibilities? What ways could I do this? How could I search this out so that I can get around people that can help build, that can build me up, that can pour in? Exactly. 1% better each day, whether it's 1% or 0.01%, but it's better each day. Because remember, growth is gradual, and sometimes it can be almost invisible, but it's the steadiness, the consistency. It's not about watching the tree grow. It's about knowing that it's being planted, it's being watered, and that when you come back, there's evidence of the growth. So it's not about feeling ready because no one feels ready all the time. Growth happens while you're doing it. So experience teaches lessons that thinking never can. You've got to be in action. And remember, as I'm doing this, I'm talking to myself, people. So don't think I'm up here. We're right here. We're sharing information. So it's the 1% better each day. That's right, coach. 1% better each day. So what do? You start small, you learn quickly, and you adjust often. You cannot course correct a parked car. It's not happening. You've got to be in motion. See, you can do as much planning as you want, but you've got to make progress because progress beats perfection every day of the week and twice on Sunday. Ah, that's it. There you go. That's it. That's it. You got something you've been trying. That's it. So I don't know if you want. So now that you've told me about this, so now I'm gonna be expecting a launch. Let's see, today's Tuesday. By the end of this week, yeah, yeah. Let's get a launch by Friday because it's better it's better to launch imperfectly than to wait and plan perfectly. Because planning perfectly will put it out for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. So you can always course correct. You can always adjust. You can always make amendments and make changes. But you have to put the car in motion. Because every action teaches us something. Every repetition is going to build that confidence. So you've got it. So the only way to develop momentum is to get in action. And and so I've got to tell you this and this. We want to train ourselves to stop waiting for perfect conditions and start right where you are. Use what you have and learn as you go. That way you keep moving forward. You build momentum and you build confidence. So I'm excited and looking forward to the launch of your product that's going to be done by Friday. Send me a message when it's launched. Now, I'm remembering this. Some reason, if I don't see you Friday, you might get a message from me. I'm annoying like that, but that's how I treat my. That's how I do my clients. I'm like that. I'm annoying like that, but hey, it moves you forward, and plus, it's for your success. Plus, think about all the people, and that's what I say. Thank you for the heart puff. Think like this. Think about all the people that are waiting for that to launch. Think about all the people that are waiting for that to launch, for the people that are waiting, that are opening in, whether it's, now I'm not even putting a number on it. Hey, Rev, thanks for joining. Think about that. So there's somebody that's out there that's like, this is the key. This is what I was looking for. This is what I was waiting. So I'm like, when is this going to happen? How is this there? So think about that. Take that into consideration. So use what you have, move forward, launch and then make those changes. So, and I'm just double checking, making sure everything good. All right, we're good. We're good here. We're good here. Okay. It's going pretty well. So we're at number 7, almost lost count. Thank you for the heart puff. Thank you so much. Oh, did that help? By the way, did that help? I just want to make sure because I don't want to leave a product. Oh, you're welcome. You are welcome. You're welcome. See, we pour in. Number 7, we're on number 7 for the 8 ways to train your mind for success. Become intentional with your focus. So whatever gets your attention eventually influences your direction. So I've been saying this and I will continue to say because I remind myself, your attention is valuable. Attention is currency. All these platforms and social media, everything that's out here, including this one here, they are looking for your attention because it's currency. They want you to stay here, and that's their goal. That's their plan. What is it that we can do to make this so attractive that you stay? So when you know your attention is that valuable and that it's a currency, you've got to protect it. You got to understand that not everything or everyone deserves your focus. There's a book out there that's called see, do I have it? It's probably on my other shelf. It's called No is a Complete Sentence. Yes, no is a complete sentence. So what does that mean? That means that when it comes to it and someone's asking you for your time, you can say no, and they say, why not? No. I'm all set. That's not in alignment with what I'm doing at the moment. That's it. Now, doesn't have to be harsh now. It doesn't have to be I said. It's got to be, no is a complete sentence. What you do now at this point is you focus on your things, focus on your solutions, your opportunities, your progress. So when you do that, when you focus on those things, those open doors, those opportunities, that focus is going to cause you to stop chasing distractions and to focus on your attractions. It's going to have you stop chasing every single opportunity that's out there and focus on what aligns with where you're going. That focuses on your goals. So how are you doing this? You're protecting your calendar. Your calendar needs protection. It needs a bodyguard. I know some people, whether you have or not, if you've been to the club, you know, when you go to a club at night, there's a line and everybody's waiting to get in. You're waiting to get in. You're waiting to get in. Now, you've got to treat your calendar like you are the bodyguard. Oh, this is something I came up with. This is I usually when I go live at 5 p.m. I talk about a topic of things. So today's topic is the eight ways to train your brain for success. So number 7 is becoming intentional with your focus. And so when it comes to your mind, you've got to treat it like a bodyguard, meaning that when it comes up and somebody wants to, you got to protect your calendar. So if something's coming up that's going to take some time, you've got to check it and make sure it's on the list. If it's not on the list, you've got to reject it. You've got to protect your calendar by all means, by good means necessary. All right. So protect your calendar. That's key. You've got to protect your energy. You've got to make sure that there's nothing that's sapping your energy when it's time for you to do the deep work, the research, the learning, the things that have an impact, that move the needle. That's important to make sure that you're doing that. So you've got to protect your calendar, protect your energy. And the third thing is you've got to protect your peace. That's right. You've got to protect, and that's from everyone. Could be parents, siblings, day ones, colleagues, co-workers, fellow entrepreneurs, fellow peace. You've got to protect your peace. There's some situations you got to say, you know what? I'm not going to go to this person's house. I'm not going to go to this event. I'm not going to take the long drive. I'm not going to go to this because I know I'm going to get X, Y, and Z. So you've got to be sure you're protecting your calendar, your energy, and your peace. All right. Now, and for those of you, as I said, when I do these lives here, I'm giving out this information here. How to apply it practically, then definitely I encourage you to come into my mastermind. I've started a mastermind. We're on week 3. If you're interested in finding out more about the mastermind when we meet, then send me a message and I'll let you know more about that. Those in my mastermind get copies of the recordings, summaries, access to any PDFs or worksheets or anything, access to the notes. So because it's a weekly assignment, so that is a mastermind. So if you're interested in that, it's a weekly meeting that we have, and it's a monthly membership. Okay, so just send me a message, and I'll reach back out to you. So DM would be good. All right. So now, as you're protecting your calendar, your energy, and your peace, you understand that your focus creates the momentum, and then your momentum builds consistency. That's right. So you're taking action. Action builds momentum. Momentum builds consistency. And when you're taking action, you're doing something. If I do one thing, something's going to happen. There's going to be a result because I'm consistent. And so then I'm focusing on that. I'm focusing on my goals. I'm protecting my calendar. I'm not focused on any distractions or anything like that, because the goal of this is to be intentional every day. So with this one, you give your best attention to the things that have the highest priority. That way you'll realize that your focus that determines your future. So that's number 7. And we're about to wrap up. Man, this time has gone. Usually I'm like looking at, usually it's different. Man, look at that. Almost the top of the hour. Number 8, repeat the habits until they become your default. Okay. Repeat the habits until they become your default. All right. What do I say by that? Hey, Cherie, thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Trying to chef it up. Um, One of the things I continually learn, and I know people will say that I've learned, I'm continuing to learn. Success isn't one decision; it's repeated decision. So what do you do with decisions? Thank you. You let it cook. It's repeated decision. So what do? You keep showing up. You keep learning. You keep practicing. You keep improving. Because as you're building these habits, those habits become automatic. And at this moment, little tangent, there's a myth out there that says it takes 21 days to build a habit. No, it doesn't. You've got to multiply that by 3, literally. And so that's how many days it takes for you, about 66. But that's another thing. That's what I teach my private clients, and those are my mastermind. As I said, you're interested, message me. Um, you've got to think about that. As you're building these habits, you want them to become instinct. They become the default. So so as you're building it, and compounds. When you start to grow, growth compounds, consistency compounds, discipline compounds. See, it's the process of repetition. You know, consistent repetition is the mother of growth, of learning. That's where it happens. So you're saying something, you're staying committed, you're staying focused, you're doing this sliver every day. So remember, it's not about the flood that happens one time. It's about the constant drip on the rock that eventually wears it away. That's what's important. So you got to keep your promises to yourself. You got to stay committed, stay coachable, stay accountable. That's the thing. You've got to have that accountability if it's that serious. So you celebrate your progress and learn from your mistakes. And what do? The destination stays the same, but the methods can fluctuate. They can adjust. You got to see your goals as like the GPS. You can't just say, take me to around the airport or around this place. You've got to give the GPS an exact address before it gives you directions. Now, do things happen along the way? Are there ways that are going to slow you down? Are there faster ways? Yes, just like a GPS will show you that. But you've got to give it an exact location. Vague goals equal vague results. Specific goals, specific results. And you get that. Once you have that, you have the repetition. It's the repeated action. So, and it seems ordinary, but we realize though that the ordinary habits, they create the extraordinary results. So those are the 8 points right there. And if you weren't here, let me just wrap up. So number 1, 8 ways to rewire your brain for success was change your self-talk. You've got to you believe what you repeatedly tell yourself. Number 2, feed your mind better information, so your mind grows in the direction of what you constantly feed it. Number 3 was build evidence through small wins. Stack your wins. Right. Number 4, stop rehearsing failure. You prepare for success more than you rehearse failure. Number 5, surround yourself with better conversation. Now, it's the environment doesn't decide your future, but it influences. So, number 6, take action before you feel ready. All right. So it's the action that creates the momentum and builds the confidence. Number 7, become intentional with your focus. And number 8, repeat the habits until they become your default. So now, before we wrap up, I wanted to remind you all, I released my second book on July 4th. Yes, I released my second book July 4th. It's called The Doorways of Life, Volume 2. Um, The Gates of Growth. It is available on that site. I'm going to work to see if I what I can do to get it available in the TikTok shop. So I'm going to and also things along those lines. So it falls along with this about rewiring for success, because writing this book had reminded me that transformation is not just a dramatic point. It's about the daily decisions we make and the conversations we have with ourselves. And so it's one of those things. So if you enjoyed the conversation we had tonight, definitely I believe that you'll find value in this book because it expands on many of these same principles. Okay. So I wanted to tell you that I released my second book, author number 2. One of the reasons I started my mastermind is because information alone doesn't change life. It's the implementation. We'll do. I need some help with that, so I may reach out. Yep. So I started my mastermind because that's a community we focus on. We focus on implementation. So it's not just accumulation of information, it's the implementation of that. Every Thursday, we meet as a private community. We talk about leadership, accountability, mindset, communication, goal achievement, personal growth, a lot of things. So now this is a paid monthly membership that includes our weekly sessions, access to the recordings, if you can't attend live, any worksheets and resources I use during our discussion. And I also incorporate many of the things that I talk about during my lives into that mastermind. So if you're someone who's interested in that, want to find out more, just send me a private message, and I'd love to talk with you about becoming part of that mastermind. Send me a message after this, and that way we can schedule a session to talk about it. All right. So we've come to the top of the hour. Thank you all so much. I'm going to leave you with this: is that it's the future that you want to create. It's not just done in one giant decision. It's created by the minor ones, the thousands of small decisions that we make. We make one decision today, and we keep making that same decision. So this is where the rewiring comes in. You got to change the way you talk to yourself. Change what you feed your mind. Be intentional about it. Celebrate the small wins. It's so important. Prepare more than you worry. Choose your better conversations and take action before you feel ready. Remember, protect your focus. That means protecting your calendar, protecting your energy, and protecting your peace. You've got to repeat those habits until they become who you are. Because remember, no one trips and all of a sudden falls into success. It's built intentionally. One thought, one choice, as the coach said, 1%, one day at a time. So it says the person, so just leaving with this, that the person you become tomorrow is basically being trained by the thoughts that you repeat and the habits that you practice, as well as the decisions you make today. All right. So I want to thank you all. Appreciate it. And once again, I'll be here tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wednesdays are kind of light. I open that up to wide discussions. If you have like a Q&A, we also go over, I call it Wending Wednesdays. So if you have some questions about some goals that you're aiming for and you want some direct things, you're welcome. Thank you so much for the compliment. Come with your questions. If you want a one-on-one free session with me, a one-on-one to discuss something we talked about tonight, message me. Send me a direct message. I'll connect with you. If you're interested in a copy of my new book, message me then. I will let you know how you can get a copy. Be sure you are following me, following my profiles. I've been posting about it. There's going to be more posts about it. Yes, because it's my second book, and I expect to have a copy of it with me by tomorrow so that I can hold it up and be like, hey, here it is. And so I'm excited about that. So as I said, if you're interested in the mastermind, possibly becoming a private client, any of those things, then message me and I will get back to you as soon as I can. So I look forward to connecting with you all. I want to thank you for spending this time. I appreciate it. All the comments, the likes, the interaction. That's what benefited me. So thank you all so much. And I'll see you in the next one. Hopefully I'll see you all tomorrow. Make it, set your calendars, turn on your notifications. I'll be there. All right. So have a good one. I'm going to stand up, move around because I've got my body's being healed. No more pains in the back and pains there. I am in the healing process. So I'll see